All right. I'm back here with Ady, and this is like part three, and we've basically discussed how money in India, black money in India, and money sort of moves from the poor to the rich first, and then it moves down from the rich to the poor. And now,
Or it doesn't move down from the
or
rich to the
very
poor.
little moves down from the.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to talk about, as I mentioned before, now what's happened is Mr. Modi has now taken out the 500 and the 1,000 note rupee, and he's now replaced it with the new 500 and new 2,000 rupee. And again, people are now, they want him dead. These are, of course, basically Western articles that I've been reading, or just articles that are like, everybody wants this guy. Okay, so let's pick up where we left off.
Right.
Mr. Modi speaks 2 years ago,
Okay.
and
Right.
go ahead, Ady.
So 2 years ago, you can search on YouTube. There are videos. You need to understand Hindi. I think there are English ones as well. And basically, he promised during his elections, before he was elected, he promised, I'm gonna give empowerment to the farmers. I'm gonna basically, you know, instead of building big cities and going down, forgetting the farmers, I'm gonna go right to the bottom and start improvising from that very bottom. And to do that, two things have to be got rid of: black money and corruption.
Got it.
And the reason also because this black money is always used to fund terrorism
Oh,
and
okay.
riots.
I read that.
And so many other things that otherwise the Indian people won't do. And it's used for, affecting the Indian economy, to, to shush people away. Any foreigners who wanted to come to India for traveling, or there is just so much, in the media that India is bad, it's dangerous, and it's this and it's that, and there are bomb blasts everywhere, and people are set on fire all the time. So all that had to stop.
Okay.
So for our economy to grow and to show people what we exactly are.
Got it.
So he had promised that. There was nothing new in it. We heard him, and that's why we elected him. When I say we, it's the common man.
Yeah.
Okay? The ones at the very bottom.
Okay.
Anywhere from poor to the higher middle class. And when you think higher middle class, and the lower middle class are the most educated people in India.
Whoa.
Because they are engineers, they are doctors. Like doctors would come into probably a little bit of a rich segment, but they are the people who understand and who know what is happening, and they are the main power. They are the machine, the engine.
That's right.
Of India. That's what makes India run.
Yes.
Mechanically, not financially. So we knew that. So then what Modi has done now by banning the notes, it has been done before. Just look up the history. I think you know, Greg.
Yes.
In 1969.
That happened in the States.
Yeah.
And in
the
Canada
US.
too.
Okay, so Nixon did that before he took the gold standard off in 1971.
That's right.
In 1969, he banned. And I think there were $10,000 notes before.
Absolutely.
Yes. So he banned every higher denomination of
denomination,
currency.
yeah.
And basically, he did that again to fight corruption, because there was so much corruption in the States at that time. And he was successful. You see, America has just taken a massive leap until. And now.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't say anything more, but
yeah, that's another story.
That's another story.
That's another story.
Worked. So what did Modi do? Is he's done the same thing.
Okay.
So now what has happened?
Okay.
The cause and effects.
Yes.
He's done it as secretly as possible.
Okay.
The notes did leak out. a week before. But no one knew that he would ban. The note leaked out was 2000 rupee note. Someone put it onto the internet saying, oh, a 2000 rupee note is coming soon. So people with black money were even happier. They're like, wow, we can even store it in bigger places, in a smaller place now. You know, like half the room
funny.
size
And more money.
and more money.
Jesus,
You
that's
know.
funny.
So that's what they were thinking. But
Okay.
he hit a bomb shot, right?
Jesus.
He put a bomb like a nuclear bomb on them by saying all the 500 and 1000 rupee notes are worthless.
The old ones.
The old ones. So now imagine you, Greg, your house is, there are 3 rooms that are full of notes.
Jeez, that's
Okay.
lovely.
And then if you think that they are worth tissue paper to wipe your bum, what
Yeah.
would you feel? You've done so much bad. You've killed so many people. You know,
Starved people.
Starved people, and you know there are people on your doorsteps knocking. Please give me my money. I'm starving. I've got my kids' tuition fees to pay. Come on. And you've done all that, and you've got this 3 rooms full of money.
What do I think? Kill Modi.
Right.
Exactly.
And what does that person outside your door think? Thank God Modi, because what you
Yeah.
start doing now is, wait a second, you start paying up. Everyone that knocks on your door, come on in, I've got the money. Yeah, come on in. Because that money is going to be worthless.
So he's got to give.
He's got to give it back as quick as possible. Just get rid of it.
There's a due date for this, right?
It
End
is.
of the year.
It's basically
End of December.
December, and then there are another 3 months. But you have to have an explanation. Like I'm going next year. I cannot go before December. So I have to explain that, sorry, I've just
You're
landed.
going in January.
Yes.
That's right.
So basically I can explain, so saying, see, I lived abroad and I did have a little bit of cash, you know, just as if I was coming back, I need money to use. That's why I had taken this much cash and I want the new notes, and voila.
Yeah.
But only a certain bank would do
And
it.
a certain amount too.
Yes.
Unless they put it in the bank.
Right.
Got it.
So, and I could always deposit in my bank.
Yes.
If I don't need to use it, I don't need the note straight away, I can always just go to my local bank and deposit it. There is a form that I have to fill explaining why, and it's done. If it's a very large amount, then there might be an inquiry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As to, I have to go and explain
That's right.
why.
Yeah.
So that's the place right now. So what's happening now?
Okay.
Okay, I'll take it back to my father.
Yes. So your father,
My
who's
father had a guy who didn't pay.
Business contract.
Yes.
Okay.
It's we supply building supplies,
That's right.
construction supplies
Mm-hmm.
to contractors and builders. So we just had a builder, not even a builder. The builders, I think the owner.
So a wealthy owner
Wealthy
of a
owner.
business that owes you
Yes.
money.
Money for last 5 years.
So this is somebody that hasn't paid you for 5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
So my father had written it off.
Ooh.
He almost had forgotten it so that he doesn't get angry. You know, for his own peace, he just had written it off.
Okay.
So a car pulls up, this guy comes in and he's like, I'm so sorry. I know I haven't been able to pay because no one was paying me, but now I've sold all my property and I need to pay up, I think. And do you still have a number, or if not, I can just pay you whatever you say. The guy who doesn't pay for the last 5 years, his son goes to school in a Jaguar E-Class. He himself drives a Mercedes AMG. Now comes to my father and says he suddenly had the money. Just
Out of the blue.
Just out of the blue. You know, it
This
rained.
is after
It rained on his house. with
after
money.
the 500
Five.
in rubies. So this is
Yeah.
after.
This is after the
Okay.
ban, because he's got probably a room full or a vault full of this currency that's gonna become
Worth nothing.
nothing.
So he's paying your father
so he's
in this
paying
money.
my father so he can get rid of it, clear his debt. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And let my father deal with all that black money.
Oh,
So
so
my
let
father
him
has
put
to
it.
now go to the bank with all this money and saying, I've got these old notes, give me the new notes, or just deposit it into my bank.
So your father basically has to deposit it into his bank.
Into my bank.
And pay tax on
And
it.
then I have to pay tax on it.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
got it.
But if that guy doesn't do that, then it becomes worthless. So he might as well clear his debt.
Clear
and,
his good
on top
name.
of that, what he says,
Bad name.
he's like, I haven't paid you for 5 years. If you want, I can even pay a 10% interest on it.
Like that.
Like
to make him look really nice.
Yes. He's like, I'm really sorry, but I really did not have the money, but I just got paid, and so my first duty is to pay you.
Wow.
And my father says, yeah, right.
Of course.
Yes.
Now you told me something. Sorry, go on.
Okay, so that's happening on one basis.
And this is obviously happening all over.
But it's not all good, okay? In India, like I said, if you go from the city to the village, there are still so many places where there's no electricity, so there is no television. Those poor people, they didn't know that their note is worth nothing. It's been banned and they have to go to the bank. They don't even know what a bank is. Or they even know what a bank is, but they
so they're
have no bank
holding money
account. Okay?
out there, and
Now
it's worth
people
nothing.
died. Poor people died because of this. And there is I think 70 people died in Punjab. How many people died in Gujarat? There must be statistics on it if you look up on the internet. But yes, people died because these poor people, they had an emergency heart attack. They go to the hospital. The hospital says, I'm sorry, I don't take this note. So they have nowhere that they can get emergency or something like that, or something happened and people die. So it's not all good. Now, if someone of your dies, would you be happy?
Of course not.
Right? But these people are still not complaining because they know what Modi is doing is for their own betterment. So it's all working out in the favor of the public. So the normal public,
common people.
The common people. Right. There are queues outside a bank, and India is a hot country. There are young guys with jugs of water and portable chairs, and they give all the old people to sit and have a drink.
Whoa.
Okay? That's how much they are loving this move.
So
Because they know these wealthy fuckers are gonna take out all their money one way or the other. All this money is gonna go back into the system, and then you will know what is India.
So you're basically saying that what Modi promised before he got into power, he's taking out corruption and he's taking out the black money.
Yes.
Okay.
So even though there is so much inconvenience, I don't think so there is a lot of complaint. And we did hear there were riots or something. But again, you see, when this first happened, there were no riots. Why not? Why after 3 months? Or why after 2 months? Because that's what my theory is.
This money.
That's my theory. It's known that because I know India, right? Suddenly, 500 and 1,000 rupee notes are worth nothing. So if you paid masonry, what do you call it?
You call them masonry.
Masonries, right?
Yeah.
If you paid a
mercenaries.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay. Mercenary. 10,000 or 100,000 rupees in 1,000 notes, and say, create a havoc in this city.
Jesus, that sounds like George Soros.
Just take a few guys and start killing just randomly, and then I'll get the media, I'll pay the media to go and cover it's a Hindu Muslim, or it's a riot because of Modi, and people are getting angry, and I'll just make it very, very big into the Indian media and then the world media, and the entire world's gonna pressurize Modi, like, what are you doing? All the human activists are gonna come here, and we'll just make it a big issue. And a few people will die, 1,000 people, there are plenty of people in India. No, not a problem. But that didn't happen, because the mercenary will say, I don't want a 1,000 rupee note. I don't want to go to the bank to change it. You give me the new notes. But there were no new notes. So this guy had to wait for 2 months. All the politicians or whatever or whosoever it is in India with that power who wants Modi
Get and to get it sort of
to
put the
stop him,
brain.
just to
Yeah.
stop him. So, answering your question again, who wants Modi dead?
The wealthy people.
The wealthy people,
Mm.
the people who are doing bad,
Mm.
the other politicians in the parliament, outside his cabinet, or maybe even in his cabinet, people want him dead.
Mm. I understand.
So he is walking like he's got balls of steel, like really big balls of steel.
But what you're
Because he could be in that environment, in a parliament where everyone wants him dead.
except the obviously the common people in India,
Yes.
because they want
So
the
probably if
money.
there was a bullet written for Modi, a common man might, or I think definitely would come in a way, saying,
Yeah.
I can sacrifice myself for this guy,
For the better of
for
India.
the better of India, for the better for my kids' future.
Wow.
So this is exactly what's happening. It's a fight. And yes, there is a saying in India, when you grind the wheat, the worms do die. There are a few worms that will die. So yes, people will have inconvenience. There'll people, will go through hardship. But the common man, people even dying, but the common man is still saying this. They know is for the betterment for them and their next generations to come.
Yes.
So they are just happy.
Sounds
But then
good.
again, there's positives and negatives. But
So
I
yeah,
think,
that's in the
I think
future.
it answers your question. I hope it answers your
It
question.
absolutely. Well, we're going to wrap up here because I think we've run a little bit over time. But I think it absolutely. I hope it gives people a little bit of a better idea of India. I also hope that people sort of understand how the money sort of moves in there. And I mean, this is totally different than just about any place I've ever heard of. I mean, I've lived in Thailand and traveled around, and this is extremely, I guess, eye-opening. And I definitely hope that the reader or listeners can actually maybe give this a listen. And I hope it maybe will just give them a different point of view about maybe what's really going on in India.
Yeah.
So
I hope.
I sure hope so. So anyway, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to thank you very much for sharing your time and having a coffee, a little bit of chocolate with me. And for those listeners out there, I mean, we're going to sort of stop it here. We're going to have this sent out, we'll put it in 3 parts, and I'll do a little bit of a write-up and stuff like that. And I hope you listen, and, we'll be happy to hear your comments. All right. So thank you very much. And Ady, again, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right then.